With these tactics and formation, I was able to achieve 113 wins in a row and become the first place on the PlayStation ranking worldwide. As you can see, this is the meta formation, the most effective tactics available. What this means, I will show you and explain you in detail now. As my tactics, I'm using the team play style long ball counter because for me, it's the perfect symbiosis of a really active attacking offense and a rock-solid defense. When attacking, players spread out to enable you to effectively use long passes to set up attacks. Even players far away from the ball holder will actively look for opportunities to rush behind the opposition's backline to create scoring opportunities. For this playstyle, it's important to have fast strikers because your forwards will try to overtake and overcome the opponent's defense in sprint duels. They will always try to run behind the defensive line. And if you have these sprinters, these fast players like we have here in this system, it's perfect when they combine also a clinical finishing. Whether it's if you have some space and bring yourself into good angles, or you go into one-on-one situations, in both situations, it's really important to have a high finishing ability. If you want to improve your gameplay, whether it's on the consoles or on mobile, make sure to subscribe to my channel, guys, and don't miss any upcoming tutorials about defense, attack, formation, tactics, and many more stuff. To boost this effect of the running behavior from our forwards, that they always try to rush behind the opponent's backline, I am using the individual instructions counter target on my two forward players. The first one is Neymar. In my case, it's the left second striker. And the next one is Romario, my center forward in the center, in the middle. With these two instructions, I can ensure that I have minimum two players at the front who are able to receive the ball in the opponent's half and to make my counter attack very fast, and in the optimum, of course, to score a goal with this attack. Another positive side effect of this individual instruction is that these selected players won't run back, they will stick to the front, which means they will save lots of stamina and they will be able to play 90 minutes if you want that. In my midfield, I am looking for players who can cover the whole pitch, which means they can run to the front and run to the back. They can initiate attacks and they can gain back the possession. And for this position, one of the most suitable players is for me N'Golo Kante. This guy has pace, and we don't need to talk about his defense skills, guys. This is absolutely insane. His dribbling is nice. He can do double touches, so perfect for my system. Gaining back the possession from the opponent, whether it's with interceptions or with going into the duels, and then initiating the counter attack or my build up of the game. He can do both, and he can also go in one-on-one situation with the opponent with the dribblings, with the double touches. You can also go for orchestrators here. It doesn't have to be a box-to-box, but I would prefer to play with a box-to-box player. Other good suitable players for this position are, if we're talking about big times, like you can go for Lothar Matthäus. If we're talking about GP players, you can still go for Kante. The GP version is crazy good, but you can also go for example, Barella. For the defensive midfield, I am preferring box-to-box players or anchormans as a playstyle. In this case, it's Patrick Vieira, who is for me the strongest player as a DMF because of his unique stature. He is tall, but he's got so long legs and his abilities are absolutely insane. He combines speed with 85 with a 192 height, and his defense crazy good. I've talked about his unique stature because of his long legs. He is able to intercept balls from a longer radius than shorter players. This is a big advantage in interceptions, but also a big advantage in duels. He can attack players from a wider range, from a longer, further range. If you don't own this player, I can recommend you to go for the GP versions of Fabinho or Zakaria. Epic-wise, you can also use short players like Davids or Busta Makalele, who will do an insane job. Another one would be Esteban Cambiaso. Crazy good players. But my preference is taller players in the DMF position. Also because of the aerial duels, lots of punts from the opponent's goalkeeper you will receive with the DMF. So he is able to win that aerial duels for you. You can use them in corner kicks. It has many advantages compared to a shorter DMF, in my opinion. In the center back positions, it's important to have a nice variation of destroyers and build-ups. I explain you why I always prefer to play with two different type of center backs. Let's do a comparison of these two play styles and start with the destroyer. It's a tenacious battler who keeps opposition attacks at bay through hard tackling and pressing. That means they are aggressive players who are trying to attack the opponent and to gain back the possession. But this leads also to the point that they will leave their positions and they will leave the defensive line. A build-up now is a player who likes to drop back to receive the ball and trigger attacks from deep, which means he's more safe and not as aggressive as a destroyer in his own play style. Therefore, a combination of these two play styles is really balanced and, in my opinion, the best way to go. In this case, I am using Frank Rijkaard, who is an orchestrator, but he is playing without a play style in this case because orchestrator is not active on a center-back position. But Maldini has it as a destroyer, so it is still really structured in my opinion in the defensive line, and they don't make too much spaces in the defense for the opponent. There are many destroyers and build-ups in the game. If we're talking about build-ups from GP versions, you can go for players like De Ligt or Marquinhos. When we're talking about destroyers, you can go for the GP versions of Koulibaly, Rüdiger or Skriniar. On the fullback position, you have two options which you can use. In my case, I am using option 1. This is with one left back and one right back. Important to mention now, in this system, it's important that the fullbacks are leveled full defensive, as you can see it here. All defensive stats above 90 plus. And this is important because we want our defensive players just to defend and not to attack. They won't run to the front, they won't go into dribblings, they won't go for crosses or pinpoint crosses. We want them just to stay back and win the duels for us and gain the possession back for us on the wings. The same goes for both fullbacks. And also here, to boost this effect, we are using the individual instructions defensive on both fullbacks. Designated players will refrain from pushing forward in attack. So it's almost the same as counter target just for defenders. And we use this instruction for both fullbacks. And also here you've got the advantage that the players will stick to the back and won't attack, which means you will save stamina and you don't need to substitute this player later on. Option 2 is when you play like this, with 3 center backs and 1 fullback. You will see this many times, especially with top-rated players. They will try to cover the center. Most of the goals are being scored from the center. And the meta system is also there to play from the center in tiki-taka system, make many passes and wait for the gap behind the defensive line to make the through pass. To avoid that, as an opponent, you are playing with 3 center backs and 1 fullback. 4 center backs won't work because the system doesn't allow it. If you go for center back, he will automatically go for the right back position. You are really compact with this formation, with this defensive line, but I prefer to go for the fullbacks. Because with the defensive instruction, they will stick to the back anyway. They will also run to the inside. They will cut a little more inside. This is a side effect of the individual instruction defensive. Why I prefer the fullback option over the 3 center back and 1 fullback option is that I'm more versatile and more flexible when an opponent comes and plays from the wing, that I can man mark, for example, his strikers with my fullbacks. This is something which I also do often, but changing tactics and talking about switching formations, switching instructions will be another topic of my video, guys. On the goalkeeper position, you can go for what you want, what you like. This is a matter of taste. This is a matter of confidence. With which goalkeeper you feel good, you feel fine, go for that. For me, it's Peter Schmeichel. I am really satisfied with him, whether it is from long-range shots or in one-on-one situations. He's got great reflexes, he's got great reach, he is tall enough. For me, all in all, he's the best, but go for the goalkeeper you like. If you're talking about GP versions, I can really recommend you Courtois, Oblak or Neuer. People are also underestimating the bench. A good balanced bench is really important. Why do I have more forwards than defenders? This is easy because we are subbing way more forwards than defenders. Defenders have got high stamina. They don't lose it that often. They have also fighting spirit like our forwards don't have it. They don't need to be subbed out. But forwards are always trying to dash, always trying to score goals. They are losing lots of stamina. And because of that, we are doing way more substitutions in the front than at the back. And this is just the reason why I have right now 6 forwards as a sub. Another great opportunity is to use the sub tactic. In the sub tactic, you're able to switch your tactic in game, which can be really useful in game when your standard formation, your A plan, doesn't work well. You can use different tricks here. In my case, I've used the edit position function to put Owen into the center, Romario on the left, and Neymar on the right side. So I've switched them all. Why did I do this? If your opponent is man marking you, they will go crazy, you know, they will lose their possessions. Their right back will cover your right forward, and so on. It will be a total mess. Another point is the team play style, which you can change in your sub tactic. I am using quick counter here. If you see your gameplay doesn't work out, long ball counter is not good for your opponent. You can't create chances, or your opponent has too much space in front of your box. You need to put on more pressure. For example, you can go for quick counter, and you can use this also for various team play styles. In my opinion, a great option to use in game, and also individual instructions which you can use to maybe confuse your opponent or use it to take advantage of the game plan. Another important aspect in game are the game settings. I will show you my controller settings and my camera settings, which is not to underestimate and on which aspects you need to take care of. I am dashing with R1, not with R2. I've changed that. Cursor change is on L1, special controls is on R2, shielding is on L2, through ball is on triangle, shoot is on square, lofted pass is on circle, and low pass is on cross. Very important, and I need to mention this, is the player movement, which you need to use with the left stick. Whether it's with running, especially for specific kind of runs and dribblings for specific angles, or also for passing, you need that. Otherwise, you only have like 8 directions where you can use the pass, where you can use the D-pad for passing. Of course, I'm dashing again with R1, cursor change is on L1, and now I'm using the matchup function on R2, the shoulder charge is on L2. Goalkeeper runs towards the ball is with triangle, no change here, but call for pressure is on square, sliding tackle is on circle, and pressure is on cross, on X, which means this is almost the previous Pro Evolution Soccer controller setting. My detailed settings are the cursor change is on semi-assist, because for me this works the best. It's a nice balance between manual and automated. The cursor type, I go for player name, but this is just a matter of taste. The manual cursor change type, I am going for player oriented because I want the player to be the base point and not the ball. So for me, it's way more accurate. This is my experience. Let's come to one of the most discussed topic in game, the manual pass level. I am going for level 2 because for me, it's the best balance between automated and manual again. And if you didn't check out my ultimate passing tutorial, you can do it here, guys, above me. Go for it and check it out. Tackle type is shoulder charge. You can also go for a standing tackle, but I can't recommend you that. Shoulder charge is way more effective, especially if you are used to this function, and if you're able to use this function, it will provide you a big advantage in game. Shot type is basic. The next one would be manual, but bro, no. Now we have a new function in eFootball 2024, which we didn't have in eFootball 2023. It's the sharp touch type. I am going here for pressing twice. It says perform by inputting player movement plus dash button twice. You can also go for once, but I can't recommend you this, guys. This is with the right dosage of dashing. It's too complex, and in my opinion, the impact of this function in game is not as high as the difficulty is. Next one is the direction guide, which is turned off for me. This is a matter of taste. It's the little circle under the player with the little arrow, which shows you in which direction you are aiming for. For me, it's a little distraction. I don't need that because I usually know what I want and in which direction I'm aiming. But if you feel safe with it, If it guarantees you more accuracy, go for it. Lots of pro players are also using this function. The next point is a really underestimated point. It's the next player indicator. For me, this is so important. I am always saying this in my coaching sessions. By the way, guys, if you would like to book a coaching with me, just send me a direct message, like on Twitter, Insta, Twitch. You can also send me via PlayStation. Where you want, let me know. What I want to say is that I am always explaining this function is so important because first of all, you know which player you will get if you press L1 in specific kind of situations. And the second point is when you are seeing this indicator, it always provides you to know which player will go for the CPU pressure. I would go that far to say that this function is a must-have, at least in my own gameplay. Why not using the advantage of this knowledge? Next one is the target guide, which is activated. It's just a white arrow which shows which player you will get when you're aiming for the right analog stick for the player switch. That's not mandatory. It's just a nice to have. For me, also in my coaching sessions, this is something which I need to show my players how to select, when to select, and on which players to select. Positioning guide, online co-op matches. For a 1 versus 1 mode, it's not necessary. The last point here is the find command type. It's on easy, which I can highly recommend you to go for easy and not for manual. You will perform and execute these skills way easier than on manual, even that you have a little more control if you go on manual, but I know almost no one who is playing on manual find command type, guys. In my camera, guys, I'm playing on dynamic wide custom and I'm putting in the zoom on 0 to be as far as possible and the height on 10 to be as high as possible. Don't get me wrong, guys. This is for me the perfect balance between being close enough to see the animations of the players, especially in dribblings or duels or intercepting balls where I need to look for the details, and a balance of being as far as possible to have a better overview above the pitch. For example, if we are going for a blimp camera, we are far away, we have a really great overview, but if you go in dribblings to perform the double touches, you have problems to identify and to recognize the little frames where the opponent is pulling out his legs for an animation of tackling. You are not able to see the details on the pitch. Here we are closer to the pitch, but in my opinion, a little too close. So we don't have a good overview. In this case, we can't see the backside of our defense. In this comparison, you can see it that with dynamic wide custom, we have a better overview about the pitch and we can see the left side and the right side a little better than in this case. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button and let me know in the comments which formation and tactics you are using right now, and if you're successful with it, I will leave you with a nice and smooth BAM, Junge!